right? So you can be doing lifting now outside on site, and the wind speed exceeded the allowable limit. You have to stop that. The lifting. That same team might be moved to do something else. So there you need to do your dynamic risk assessment and all that, right? So do you need to wait a week to do the dynamic risk assessment for that sort of activity? No, you don't, right? So that is just responding to time-sensitive requests, not just email, right? A radio call come in or a phone call come in and say, I need you to come to Chainage XYZ. I need you to look at and give me a toolbox tool because we're going to do hot works, right? If you're, and I believe some of us might be doing, just maybe you're doing some administrative work in the office, which is not really vital, right? And you say, oh, I've got this thing to do. But if you can spare the time to go meet them, just go and do it. That will gain that communication and gets everybody working together. And one of the things I do personally is, as you can imagine, I get several emails from clients, from the company I work for, from the guys that work within my team. I always spend 15 minutes a day to check my emails, right? I prioritize the emails and see which one needs to go now. And some of the way I do it is I prioritize it by, listen to this. A lot of people will believe I prioritize it from CEO downwards. No, I don't do that, right? I prioritize it from what will happen now if I don't respond to that person. I.e., if an RE or a construction manager sends me an email, believe you me, it takes more priority on my list than the CEO sending me an email at that moment, right? Because the construction manager might need my advice, might need my support for something immediately, which can kill somebody. The CEO mostly will call you, or the project director or program director will mostly call you for high level stuff, things that are administrative, sort of like deliverables, right? So you can sort of target that and understand what needs to be done. So on site, it might be your PM, right? It might be the RE on site. It might even be a foreman that sends you an email, right? So you might get a call from a foreman or a call from a charge hand, right? So Mr. Who can I call on now? I can see everybody alert now. I'm going to call on Mr. Sona John Calvin. How are you? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? He hasn't got mic. We'll move on to somebody else. Who can we call on? There is a lady in here. So somebody, Rolly? Can you hear me? She can't hear me. Okay, we'll move on. Somebody's relaxing here. In focus, who's that? MO808. Can you hear me? But I can't hear you. Okay, we'll move on.
Hey, sorry.
Oh, you can hear me. So I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
I'll just text me your mic and how stressed you can get.
Okay.
So you can put it back on mute now. Thank you. When I was mentioning earlier on with us to...
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you. I'll come back to you. You can put your mute on now. Thank you. When I said about practical safety, giving people leeway, right? Like the gentleman said earlier on, you ask somebody to do something. Think about how long it would take for them to achieve that, right? So you've gone onto a site, let me see for an example. Okay, you've gone onto a site and they're doing a lifting, tandem lift. And you realize that some of the chain links that they're using is not certified and there is some wear and tear on them. And you stop the work. For example, you suspend the work. right? You're in a remote part of the world, or a remote part of, for example, Saudi Arabia, and they don't have a spare part for that work to go on. That will not take you 10 minutes or an hour to achieve. That will take some days because they need to procure it and get it sent back to site, or maybe 24 hours, things like that. Flip you onto the other side, because that's highly technical. Let's flip you onto the other side, housekeeping. There's an area where it's not kept well, and you've requested for the area to be made clean. That should take about an hour, right? Because you understand you're going to get laborers to come in there, sweep the area, keep it clean, and segregate the waste, right? So there is no point you going away, right? You've spoken to them, they understood what they need to say. Going back to the crane, the lifting scenario now, right? Just imagine you coming back an hour later and say, where is the chain? Is that going to be possible? No, because they need to procure a new chain, and it's going to take 24 hours, right? So what I said on there is monitoring your colleagues' work on a project, right? Or piece of work, constantly focusing on it. Have you done it? Have you done it? Nagging them, we call it, right? Pressurizing unnecessarily, right? That will increase their stress level, right? They feel hounded, they feel micromanaged, right? And you feel like, I don't want to be a part of this thing no more, I want to go. I've been in that position. I hate to be micromanaged. I hate it. Let me do what I need to do. Let me think about it. Let me make it happen, right? What do we need to stop doing? We need to trust people. Yeah, by not watching their every move. Trust. And how do you develop having trust with people? By stop being vague, right? By giving them leeway, by understanding what they want from you. Like I said, trusting people, right? Working with your colleagues to establish a great timeline, right? That's ways to manage the stress level. So, questions to the room now. I've got 10 signs of excessive stress. So I'm going to go around the room. I'm going to ask you one sign of excessive stress that you feel you might notice from other people, or you've noticed within yourself before. So I'm going to start with Remigius. Please come online. Can you hear me? You look very relaxed on that bed. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Good evening.
Good. So can you give me one sign of stress? One sign of stress that when I ask you one sign of stress, what comes to your mind?
Maybe your body is feeling like you are feeling sick, headache.
Headache, okay. Just one, don't finish it. Headache, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'll move to somebody else. Let me see. Who can I call on? Everybody is scared now. Let me go back. I can't see some people's videos. Don't switch off your video because I'm calling for you. Fidelis, can you hear me? I can see your smile. Don't panic. One sign of stress, yes, please.
I can hear you.
Yeah, one sign of stress. One sign of stress.
I think excessive breathing.
Excessive breathing, yeah? Cool.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down. You're teaching me something today. Thank you, sir. You can mute your mic. I can see somebody. Ayas? Zafar? Ayas?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How are you, my friend?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine, sir.
Can you give me one sign of excessive stress, please?
A willful disregard of doing work.
Sorry?
A willful disregard of doing work. Sometimes we don't want to do work because of stress.
So